Jayden got an MRI? Is it time to panic about Terry McLaurin? And a film breakdown to see if we really got beat as bad as we thought we did on Thursday. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we're here to talk about everything involving the Washington Commanders. Obviously, a lot of us, fans included, we're still trying to pick ourselves up off the canvas after the beating that the boys took up there in Lambeau on Thursday. Great win for the Packers. They look truly sensational. All the Super Bowl hype is real. For the Commanders, they got a long way to go. Now, it was only one game, and we can look back at the start of last season when they got blown out by the Buccaneers and when they played a 3-point game against the Giants, and we saw what happened from that point on. They go 11-4 to finish the season, and there are better days ahead, of course, but that was a lesson, if nothing else, for the boys. It was also very costly. We got updates on some injuries, a couple of season-ending injuries, also other bumps and bruises along the way. Guys, we are going to get into everything there is to talk about on this video today. So make sure you hit that like button if you guys are excited, and if you want to support me, support the content, support the channel, and of course support the Commanders. We're all still fans. It was an ugly loss on Thursday, but it's very, very early on. We got 4 months to go. Let's stay in this thing. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and let's jump into this as always. So I want to start really quick by giving a shout out to Trey Amos, the rookie cornerback out of Ole Miss. I went back and I watched the All-22 again today. That's the second time that I've gone back and watched every play. And I got to say, he was one of the very few bright spots. In that game, he allowed just one catch for 14 yards, actually -2 yards of yards after catch. So even though his tackling isn't the best, he did get railroaded by Jordan Love, which is embarrassing to get run over by a quarterback. But at the same time, Love is 6'5", 230 pounds. So I guess I'll let him off the hook a little bit, but still, Trey Amos in coverage did a very good job. Really the only one in the secondary. Quan Martin did awful on the touchdown, the 50-yard touchdown that was called back for a holding. Quan could have easily picked the ball off if he made a play on it, just chose not to, got bailed out by the penalty. His coverage instincts were just awful all day. Mike Sanders still gave up 2 touchdowns. Marshawn Lattimore, potentially the worst Commanders defensive player on the entire field. Despite all that, Trey Amos held up very well. I didn't mention Will Harris. He didn't have a good game either, but Trey Amos held up despite all of that. For the season, which is only 2 games, but he's gone against Malik Neighbors, and then he's got against the Packers offense that was completely overpowering the Commanders defense. So despite that, through 2 games, the first 2 games of his NFL career, he's allowed 4 catches for 41 yards, only 9 yards after catch. He has a PBU, which came in the end zone against, I believe, Matthew Golden, and he's only given up 1 penalty. So very good start to his career. And we're going to talk about more and talk about him more later on when we get to some of the top defensive players of this Commander season so far, according to Pro Football Focus. So a little teaser of what's coming up further along the lines in this video. Update on injuries now. Austin Ekeler probably out for the season with an Achilles tear. The moment it happened, while it was happening live, it was up at the top of the screen. I'm a big basketball fan as well, and we saw in the NBA playoffs, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, bunch toward Achilles. And it was kind of that like half back step push off at full speed to try to get going. That's what did it for all of them. I forget what they're calling it. I forget. I think they call it a half drop step, whatever the term is. Ekeler did that, and you see how he just splat onto the field. And in real time, I was like, that's torn Achilles. Saw the replay, torn Achilles, no doubt about it. In the NBA, they'll say the person suffered a calf injury until they get testing, and then they'll say they tore Achilles, because a torn Achilles is the worst injury an athlete can have. That's a 9-month to 1-year recovery, sometimes even longer. But the Commanders, as soon as the game ended, they said he has an Achilles injury. And the only other Achilles injuries you can get is a strain, and you don't strain an Achilles that way. That is a tear. So I'm going to assume Austin Ekeler's out for the season. Prayers to him, man. I said it during my game reaction. That guy is maybe one of the toughest humans on this planet, because he didn't cry. He didn't slam his fist on the ground. He didn't make any pain faces or anything. He just ate it, walked it off. And I'm sure his body was shot up with adrenaline, but even still, Tatum, for example, Jason Tatum, if you saw his reaction when he tore his Achilles, he was writhing. He was in serious pain. And it's not me saying Austin Ekeler's tougher than Jason Tatum or anything, but like just a testament to Austin Ekeler, because he's an undrafted player who had to work for everything he got over on the sideline before he's even up on the cart. And then again, when he is on the cart, he's pointing at the camera, giving him a thumbs up like, I'm good. Don't worry about me. Huge shout out to Austin Ekeler. Now, Deatrich Wise also looks like he's out for the season. He suffered a quad injury. I was wondering if it was a knee because he came into this game with a knee problem. And then when you go down like that and you're holding your leg and it seems like it's season-ending injury, the natural assumption is a torn ACL. But the team had confirmed, at least after when they put out their injury report, they said that it was a quad injury. So I think he might have torn his quad, which is not fun. That's very painful as well. And if that is the case, then he's most likely out for the season as well. So those two, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be saying goodbye for the rest of the year and maybe forever because they're both on one-year deals. And, you know, they're probably not going to be re-signed. They're both older veterans, part of helping that the Commanders' average age be the oldest in the NFL. And coming off injuries like that, you don't know they're ever going to get back to where they were. So prayers to them. Thank you for being around on the team. We appreciate you guys. Other bumps and bruises along the way. This is a nasty game for the Commanders. Will Harris got banged up. Noah Brown, John Bates, Brandon Coleman. I think, was it Trey Amos might have been banged up. Yeah, I think he had a shoulder. There are a lot of guys who left that game against the Packers, ended up coming back, but still, it's a good thing that there is a 10-day rest here. And maybe this is a referendum on the dangers of having Thursday night football, especially early in the season. This is the first Thursday night game of the year, which is a short week. Obviously, the season opener between the Eagles and the Cowboys, but they'd been resting the entire offseason. And you see that the negative effects it can have on the players' bodies. So maybe the NFL does something with this. I highly doubt it because it's great for ratings. It's great for money. But even moving the game to Friday, just that extra day of recovery when you're this early in the season could play a big role. And especially, again, with them being the oldest team in the NFL, not saying that rubs them out from being Super Bowl champions, but in a situation like this, are their bodies going to recover as fast as a 23-year-old's? No, they're not. So it is what it is at this point. Now we just got to move forward. Now I want to talk about Jayden Daniels here. He also was on the injury train. He got an MRI before leaving Green Bay on Thursday. Supposedly it was on his knee, which is troubling because there was a play in the fourth quarter where it looked like he tweaked his ankle and then he was limping around for the rest of the game. And let me interrupt this little segment just to say this. To everybody online using this as a chance to bash Jayden Daniels, the trolling, the memes, it's fun. I get it. We do it to everybody. I don't like it. I wish we could move past this, but it happens to everybody. So I don't take that personally. The Commanders fans who are using this opportunity to say Jayden Daniels' footwork is horrific, his mechanics, look at the end of the fourth quarter. Guys, he could barely move. He was limping to the huddle, and when he was standing in the pocket, he was just standing still. That's why he was getting crushed after he was throwing the ball. He was getting lit up in the ribs and the midsection because he didn't get out of the way because he couldn't move. So he had what looked like an ankle injury, and now he needs an MRI on his knee as well. So there's a lot going on. So if you're a real fan, just stop it because it's a bunch of nonsense. Now, Jayden got beat to hell in this game. And I have to say this. I'm not one for pulling your starters even when games are quote unquote out of reach, just because it's not a good look. It's you got beaten to submission. Basically, if it's a 40-point blowout, it's different. But I do have to say, in real time, I did think the Commanders should have pulled Jayden out of that game, and some of the other starters as well, obviously, because Jayden was getting crushed. The Packers generated 33 pressures. Like I mentioned, Jayden, we saw the play where he had to leap over somebody and got his feet taken out from him midair, did a little somersault. And if he hadn't leapt, they would have just gone straight to his knee, probably torn his ACL. But that happened. There was the ankle tweak. Now we know about this MRI. The offensive line wasn't holding up. I thought that looking at the way the game had gone, there were 6.5 minutes left. It was a 3-score game. They were down 17 points. You had 165 yards of total offense in 3.5 quarters. We all knew they weren't going to go drive down the field 3 times in a row and get 3 stops on defense and find a way to get that game to overtime. I think the coaching staff owed it to Jayden to get him out of that game because a competitor is never going to pull themselves out, especially when you're the leader of the team like Jayden is. So they knew that he wasn't going to do that, but they watched him just get crunched. And again, I felt like they owed it to him to take him out of that game. Sometimes you got to save players from themselves. Now, speaking of saving players from themselves, I said in my game recap, I had a huge problem with Terry McLaurin because he wasn't on the field for the 4th and 7, which was the pass to Zach Ertz that he caught, but that was ruled a first down because of defensive holding. And then the 4th and 4 to Jalen Lane, which was a slant that effectively ended the game, even though it was already over at that point. Terry wasn't on the field for either one of those plays. And I said, I want to be furious with Terry, and in some ways I still am because this all does stem back to his conditioning and his preparedness. But if the coaching staff said, hey, Terry, we're not letting you on the field, you've hit your maximum amount of reps, then it is what it is. That's on the coaching staff at that point for not banking reps later on in the game. If Terry had a hard limit of 30 snaps and you knew that you're going to be going for it aggressively in the fourth quarter, then you got to save 10 to 12 for him in the fourth quarter, right? Well, he played 51 snaps on Thursday, which is a lot. I want to say the Commanders had 66 total plays. So certainly a very high number of that. So I'm at a loss. It doesn't seem like he had a snap limit. So I'm at a loss why he wasn't on the field on fourth down. And it adds to my mental fire. And I'm never going to get an answer for this. But did Terry say to the coaches, hey, guys, I'm tired? Did the coaches say to him, hey, Terry, we need to protect you? What were the conversations? There's no way it was a strategic thing. Now, Terry's off to a bad start to the year. I get it. His yards per route run, which is it's a very second level analytic. I get it. It's not common. It's not like something simple like receiving yards, but he's averaging 0.39 or 0.93 yards per route run, which is horrifically low. Seriously, so low. Now, on the upside, he only had 39 yards through 2 games last year, and he's at like 70 or 80 now. So maybe it can still get better. But did the coaching staff say, Terry, you're not getting the job done? Did he say, I can't get open? I don't think he would say that. But why was he on the field on those 2 fourth down? That is a crucial piece of information that I really want to know. And the media is not going to get to interview Dan Quinn or anybody until next Monday. So I'm hoping that they can just hold on to that and remember to ask him that question, because I really want to know what is the reason. Now, real quick before I get into the film breakdown of some interesting plays from the Thursday night game, just wanted to go over who Pro Football Focus is grading as the Commanders' highest rated players so far this season. On offense, it's Bill Krosky-Merritt. Only got 4 carries in the game. All of them went for at least 4 yards. Cliff Kingsbury, why the hell did you not give Bill the opportunity to run the ball? He is the second-ranked rusher in the entire NFL on PFF right now. It is what it is, I guess. Bill's number 1. Laramie Tunsil's number 2. Didn't have a great game against the Packers either, but the entire offensive line was getting destroyed, and he was probably the best offensive lineman. Number 3, Luke McCaffrey. Now, he does not have many snaps. I think he's got something like 17 for the year. But honestly, he did look like a bit of a breath of fresh air towards the end of that Packers game. I don't know if it's because they were playing stock coverage, because he was fresher than everybody because he hadn't been playing much. He did catch the 2-point conversion. Maybe he's earned some reps. I don't know. Number 4, Jayden, and then number 5, Deebo Samuel. Surprised Deebo wasn't a little bit higher. He's been probably the best offensive player, maybe aside from Bill, although Bill didn't really even get the opportunity to play on Thursday night. But Deebo's not changing the game as of this point. I think he's part of like a rising tide raises all ships. I think when the players around him start to play better, his impact will be even greater. But right now, he's not changing anything single-handedly. Defensively, Eddie Goldman is the highest-rated Commanders player. Did not expect this. It's a very underrated shout, but he has actually been good in those games, in these 2 games. I've noticed that myself. Bobby Wagner's number 2. Javon Kinlaw's number 3. Dorrance Armstrong's number 4. And Jacob Martin is number 5. So, guys, pretty much all up on the front line aside from Bobby Wagner. And with all that new stuff out of the way, let me go ahead and get into my film breakdown here. So I got 5 plays that I wanted to go over, 3 from the Commanders offense, 2 from the Commanders defense. And I wanted to go over them for different reasons. Offensively, I wanted to talk about some of the struggles that Jayden Daniels had in this game. He was definitely missing some reads, and I want to go over what happened. And then on defense, I want to show what the Packers did to poke holes in the Commanders defense. So without further ado, let's get to this first play here. So this is on, sorry, I need to look at my notes. This is on a 3rd down, I believe. This is coming off of a no huddles. So we know that the Packers are being forced to stay in relatively stock coverage here. So you've got a 2-high shell is what it appears to be off the start, or not even appears. That is what it is. All of a sudden, as we get closer to the snap, you're going to see him drop down here. And now here's what's interesting in this play. We get motion from Deebo Samuel here. Nobody follows him, right? This corner doesn't follow him. They sink down to play the run a little bit better, get closer to the tight end here, but nobody's following him. So we know that we have zone coverage. At least that's what we're expecting. As the play develops, we see that Deebo's motion in his route is staying close down here, which means you're going to get the flat defender forced to stay down here closer to where Deebo is. Watch Jayden and watch Terry. Jayden is looking here. He wants this pass. Terry creates separation. He's in the blind spot of the cornerback. He stops. Terry McLaurin is wide open by NFL standards, not only considering the fact that this player has fallen down, but really he should even be closer down here, closer to Deebo, because Deebo's route is forcing him to honor that hard flat. So again, if we watch this again, is very good protection by the offensive line. You start to get a little bit of penetration, but Coleman gets him on the ground. Jayden wants this throw. He knows that's where he's going with the ball. And for whatever reason, he just doesn't throw it. And I don't know if the end zone view will give us a better look. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to see the window. But he's trying to fit it right through here, and he just doesn't do it. He checks it down to Deebo. So that's a blown read right there. That should have been a 12-ish yard gain to Terry. Now, this might be the worst play that we're going to get to from all of these because there's a lot of mistakes made. There's a lot of blame to go around. So this is also coming out of no huddle. I believe this is on third down again. It's very standard cover two. You're not getting into any disguises here. It looks like cover two. As we press play here, we let it go a little bit. It's still cover two. You've got your flat defenders on the side. You've got, let me speed it up a little bit. Everybody, you got a presence on her down here. You got your defenders playing the hooks. You got two high safeties covering deep halves. This is cover two. Watch. This play is crazy, and I need to explain why. So right here, let me back it up just a tiny bit. So Jayden is looking in the right spot. He wants to go here to Noah Brown, and he has him. Noah Brown is on a curl. He stops right here. He's got separation. Jayden's got to put that ball on a rope right through there. Now, if he can't do that, who's open right here? Terry McLaurin's on a short crosser right in the middle of the field between the two hook defenders. He is wide open. So back it up again and watch both of these players. I'll play it one time through. Watch Noah Brown. I'll play it again. Watch Terry McLaurin. Switch release by Deebo. Drags this defender out wide. Noah Brown's open right here. Jane's got to put that ball through. Now back up. Watch Terry. Terry finds the soft spot in the zone right there. He's waiting for the ball. It doesn't come to him. So blown reads by Jayden. Now, after I'd watched this a couple times, I thought to myself, okay, well, Micah Parsons is kind of unblocked. He's gotten past a Josh Connerly right here. He's bearing down. Jayden still needs to get that ball out. He has time to make that throw, but he's a little bit skittish. I think this play was also maybe early third quarter or so. So at this point, he's seen the pressure in his face. So he knows that the Packers are getting after him, and he feels the pressure sooner than he should. So he scrambles, right? So I back it up, and I want to see, well, how did Micah get past Josh Connerly so easily? So here's Micah right here. Here's Josh Connerly right here. Watch what happens. Did you miss it? Josh Connerly is right here. Cliff Kingsbury, your third down play call was to leave Zach Ertz. This is Zach Ertz. This isn't even John Bates, a blocking tight end. This is Zach Ertz on an island with Micah Parsons. Now, the concept here is if you watch the offensive line, they all kick out to the left side, and Austin Ekeler gets a fake going this way. So it's misdirection to try to fool the defense, and to an extent it works because you drag this linebacker down. That opens up partially this zone in the middle of the field for Terry on the crosser. But what happens is as you're waiting for Jayden to get the time to throw this ball to Noah Brown, Micah Parsons is one-on-one on an island with Zach Ertz. And Ertz has outside leverage. So he's blocking Micah inside, giving him a direct line to Jayden. What is happening on this play? Jayden bears responsibility because, again, he can get this ball out. Noah Brown's turning around right now. He can get that ball out. He can hit Terry on this crosser. But why is the plan on third down to leave Zach Ertz on an island with Micah Parsons? Explain that to me. That is emblematic of some of the poor concepts and just situational awareness. When you get to this point in the game and the Packers have been tearing the Commanders' offensive line a new one, don't put Zach Ertz one-on-one with Michael Parsons, who's getting past triple teams, it seems like. Now, this one was really bad. So I know it's a little fuzzy here at the start. This is actually Colson Yankoff that's in line to get the center. Yankoff has history playing quarterback. You got Bill in the backfield. Jayden is on Yankoff's side. You got a close split right here with two receivers. And then this is Sinnott. I was going to say this is Ertz. This is Sinnott right here. Now, if we speed it up, all of a sudden we've got motion. Sinnott doesn't just stay where he is. You're going to get to 12 personnel with Sinnott and Yankoff up on the line, but Sinnott comes inside. Yankoff goes outside. Bill motions over, not motions, but moves around just a little bit. So he's no longer behind the quarterback. Now he's up next to him. The receivers stay over here. But all this eye candy over here, watch what it does to the Green Bay defense. It looks like we're getting cover two. Maybe there's a chance that it's quarters, but we're thinking it's some sort of too high shell. Well, as this motion happens, these players got to drop down. He steps up. He steps up. Look, they're communicating. You got him. You got him. He even puts his hand out, says what's happening. Now you're going to get a motion from Deebo, which adds to everything that's going on. We can tell from some of the movement, this is zone coverage because if it's man, he's sticking with him more tightly. So now these guys over here, they've got to worry about what's happening with Deebo. Is this a jet sweep? Is this a screen? What is this? So because the defense sinks down so much, watch Ben Sinnott here. Ben Sinnott comes flying free up the seam. Total miscommunication. You've got Yankoff right here. He's going on a little bit of a wheel route up the right side. So that forces this defender guarding what now we know is cover 3. Because if we look at the alignment of the defense, we see that what looked like a too high shell, he's actually got the middle part of the field. He's got an outside third. He's got an outside third. And Sinnott is free right up the seam. Jayden's got a perfect pocket. Look at this. You've got to fit that ball in there for a touchdown. This is early in the third quarter. This is, I think, the first or second drive of the third quarter where it's 14-3, I believe, at this point in the game. So this changes everything. This isn't garbage time in the fourth quarter, but Jayden just checks it down to Deebo. So I'll play it all the way through once again. So look, we've got motion. They're switching around over here. You've got another motion from Deebo. That's going to force this side of the defense to drop down. Sinnott is free up the seam. Jayden just holds on to it and checks it down to Deebo. That's a really bad miss for an NFL quarterback. So now the Commanders are on defense. I want to show you 2 plays and 2 examples of how the Packers used motion to really mess with the discipline and just the awareness of the Commanders defense. Marshawn Lattimore was complaining after the game that the Packers didn't do a whole lot aside from use motion and run man beaters. And to a certain extent, he's right, but it was much more calculated, much more thought out than he led on. Now this is very simple. So they're coming out on a third down right here. It's 3rd and 3. This is the first drive of the game. All of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, but early on, we're just going to see a little bit of motion right here. Just mess with the defense just a little bit, force them to communicate. What's going to happen is, this is Wicks, I think. Wicks is going to come across. With Lattimore following him like this, we have declared man coverage. This motion has forced the Commanders defense to declare man coverage. You've got 2 bodies right here. These are the 2 players responsible for guarding them. This is Sainer still right here, and I think this is Amos is on this guy right here. So because they know that, these are effectively picks for Wicks. Lattimore is giving him cover or giving him cushion. He's not up on him. And so all that happens is this is a quick out route with a good, solid pocket. I know it's collapsed a little bit on the interior, but it's a quick pass. Love just gets it out quick, exactly where the ball needs to be. I mean, this is easy stuff for an NFL offense right here, especially when it's good as the Packers offense. So again, force them to communicate a little bit. Drag Sainer still inside, just a step, so he's not out there to guard the boundary. When you get the motion to Wicks, Lattimore gives him a little bit of cushion. I mean, easy. That's as easy as it gets on a third down. And then the other play I wanted to show was the 57-yard completion to Tucker Kraft. Now, this is tough to defend because you have to be very aware of the situation. We can see that Jordan McGee is on the field. I think he's only played 6 defensive snaps this season. So it shows you just that the personnel grouping the Commanders going with, not something that they are customarily used to. You got your 4 players up on the line right here, plus Luvu is going to be blitzing off the edge, it seems like. What are the Packers doing? They're in 13 personnel. You got a tight end right here, another one right here, another one right here. So we got 3 of the big boys on the field, all down, none of them split out, with 1 receiver, 1 running back in the backfield. So we're going to play this. We're going to see that's motion across. Lattimore does not follow, so we know that we do not have man coverage. We know that we have zone coverage, unless they're just shifting the responsibilities. But we can see that it looks like it is still going to be zone. So what happens? You've got to worry about a jet sweep, obviously. I know I let this go for a little bit. But right here, we got to worry about a jet sweep. Okay, it doesn't happen. Okay, what's happening now? We only got single high. Everybody else is down near the box. It looks like we got 9 guys in the box, basically. This player right here is going to be responsible for picking up Wicks or whoever that is. That's Williams, actually, as he comes over. What's going to happen? Deatrich Wise. He's not covering a tight end, obviously. Deatrich Wise comes down. He's stopping the screen, right? As soon as the screen doesn't happen, now he's going after the quarterback. So back it up. When that screen doesn't come, Jordan McGee, who I was just talking about, does a nice job of getting past this defender. He's going to take Kraft because he sees that Kraft is coming on a bit of a switch release right there. So McGee does a good job getting out to him. Wagner's in position right here. You got your hook defender. You're good. Lattimore's over here in case there are any shenanigans with this tight end down at the bottom. So we're all good. McGee now stays to cover the flat because Wise is coming to get the quarterback. So McGee's got to be wary of a dump off to the running back right here. Will Harris, it looks like, is now covering this tight end coming across the middle of the field. Bobby Wagner, watch him. Bobby Wagner is expecting help from over the top, but this crossing route right here has forced Quan Martin's eyes to come over here instead of being in position to also help out with that seam route. This defender is occupied by Williams, who is going into motion. Now he's going up on the side. So what happens as we get through this is Bobby Wagner is actually responsible for carrying Tucker Kraft vertically right here, but he passes it off thinking that he has help over the top, and that's as open as it's going to be. This is just there's so many things at play here. Again, 13 personnel, motion, switch release with Kraft. There's a lot of things to just be very communicative on and have a very keen understanding of where everyone is supposed to be. And we've got unique personnel groupings with McGee on the field. We have 5 players rushing after the quarterback here. We've got all this going on. There's a multitude of things at play. Quan Martin should be in better position to help out, but Wagner has got to be carrying him vertically. That being said, Bobby Wagner's not supposed to be running 30 yards down the field in coverage at this point in his career. Doesn't really have the speed to do that. So this is just perfect play call, perfect design, perfect execution by the Packers. And yeah, that's about all I got for you guys today. So I'm going to go ahead, head on out of here. Make sure you hit the like button if you did enjoy. Hit the subscribe button if you are new around here. Go to the comment section as always. Leave me your thoughts and everything I said. It's Saturday. I hope you guys get outside, enjoy the sun, have a great weekend. And as I always say, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.